Good morning and good afternoon. Happy Sunday. Today is February the 11th. So, welcome back. Thank you for everything. As y'all know, I want to thank God for everything. Just for even being able to live and the good and the bad. So, today I want to dive in a little about serving. It was on my mind earlier as I was out walking not that long ago. Who or what are we serving? So outside of scripture, just in the worldly, even when we're young, we're lost, right? Or some people, there's a handful of people. I don't know the percentage. That's somebody else's, or we could do that later on. That being said, there's the handful of people when you're young, you know how or who you want to serve. Outside of scripture and badly things or whatever, like your path. Like, I'm going to go to school, I'm going to go to college, I want to be a journalism. So if you're going to go into journalism, you're serving the people, right? But how are we serving? I think, and have come to the realization at this particular stage of my life, we're serving ourselves, but we're also serving others all at the same time, right? Whether we're doing it for selfish gain or are we really doing it for God? Are we doing it for others? So, yes, you want to serve yourself in a way, no matter what you're doing, no matter what your calling is, no matter what your gift is from God. Yes, you're serving yourself that you want to grow, but you also want to be serving yourself to be humble and to keep that in mind. But at the same time, you're serving others, whether you're a restaurant worker, right? No matter what your job is, we're serving one another. You're serving your other co-workers. People that are doing the oil industry are providing the work to get the gas to you. You have everybody works together. And I think sometimes we forget this. And I'm glad for the pastors throughout life and in ministry that go above and beyond and are willing to admit this, right? Or help bring this to light. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get my camera straight a little bit. So we're crossing over one another, right? And I think sometimes we get so wrapped in society. Oh, I gotta serve myself so I can be rich and then I can provide. But really, as we're growing through our careers, through life, we also know that God is serving us. So, like, when I was homeless, I became even more humble and more patient. So God was working and serving me in that manner, right? He was learning by me being homeless, everything that was given to me and everything up to that point. Yes, I was working hard and I was serving myself, trying to get a better job, to get on my feet. As y'all know, going through drug addiction or having a felony record, hard to get an apartment and things like that. I was trying to serve myself so I could be better for others. But at the same time, when I finally got a trailer and apartment with the help of my boss, Jeremiah, there were certain parts I took. I was humble, but at the same time, I took them for granted. And that ties into, if y'all watched prior, that ties back into, he was serving me in that way, helping me get on my feet. I had another way somebody has served me very well in ministry is my friend Jeremy Knox that I met when I was in Rochester Hills, Michigan, going to Rochester Church of Christ. He bluntly asked me, he's like, I'm going to be hard on you. And sometimes we need that hardness. Sometimes you come across too many soft people or the co-work work, and it can drive you nuts. But if you keep that in mind, like, yes, it might make me mad, but at the same time, you're thinking, okay, in this anger, let me calm myself down, let that person speak, or let my anger calm down. In that moment of frustration, even if I disagree with the issue, let me try and see their point of view. How are they serving me or serving the world from their perspective? And I think we get lost. Something that I've tried to keep in mind. Am I 100% perfect at it all the time? Absolutely not, because I have my days of frustration or losing it. But I've learned to calm myself down in a more timely manner, depending on the circumstance, the situation, the feeling, anything to that nature, right? But when you go through the steps, being younger, yes, you're in a restaurant, you're serving others by making those sandwiches, your coworkers, even if somebody's out in the back doing dishes, they're serving by helping, close down the other parts of the restaurant. So we're all serving one another, learning to work as a team. And as we're growing older in our younger teenage years, even sometimes our young adult to, I'm going to say even mid-30s, sometimes we forget because we're so focused on growing or wanting a family. We need this car, we need this house, we need this. So it goes on the back burner of learning that you're really still serving others, and we get lost in ourselves. Because we're trying to serve so much of ourselves, we forget how humble that we're serving others in that process. And I've tried to keep that in mind as I've grown. Those that have been in similar situations of me, like when I was with the wrong crowd when I first came here into Beaumont, and it was during my sabbatical. I was taking a break from everything from Michigan, right, as y'all know. And I used a website. I kind of got into the prostitution side of things, call girls. There's a lot that got stopped in that process, but at the same time I had them, yes, let's be blunt, back as the thing was called, my channel, now as y'all know, Cross Services, so this is to help motivate people through experience. So that said, with the wrong girls, and even though I had somebody help and serve me to get my apartment, and I lost that apartment because of my killer's actions, but at the same time I thought I could handle it. But also at the same time, I was trying to help and benefit those girls and those people that were involved by letting them stay at my place. I knew at the time I was taking that risk. Yes, Jeremiah got me an apartment. He didn't want nobody over, but at the same time I was trying to be my own adult and help others, but also at the same time I wasn't secure. So I had to kind of learn how to interact, right? And God was serving me by, sometimes we have to go through these situations to learn to serve ourselves better in security or our inner circle. But you also took that risk of helping them in a bad time. Did you get hurt in the process? Yes. But now you know how to, like right now, talk to others and try to hopefully prevent younger generations, or maybe your kids going through it. Can you prevent it? Absolutely not. Like, I can tell my future kids these exact words. Are they going to listen? Maybe not. But that is my goal here, is those that are watching, that we can talk to these things and that we can really relate to one another. And even this cultural enrichment, immigrants. So let's take a step back. Even in biblical times, the church and the people grew, right? And we need other people. We need the melting pot, right? And I think when it comes to, before you're Republican, Democrat, Trump, Biden, whatever, and other presidents to come, let's be blunt. When it comes down to it, we do need borders. We do need the process, right? That's why we have overseers and people, and we need that. But we get mad. I don't rely on the government for my bread and my cheese. That's why God created us to work, and we're trading. I trade work for time to pay. When I go to buy something like a composition book, or we go to buy this, sometimes we take something small for granted. Even though you might have bought this at the store, that little pays those coworkers. Those coworkers now can pay their phone. So we all serve one another, and sometimes we got to look at the bigger picture of things, guys. So who are you serving? And we want to serve in the best way possible without getting stressed, without getting burnt out. But we also got to take care of ourselves. There's a budget. It hurts me to see that, why are these people hurting in the immigrants? How can we better serve them besides just sending billions of dollars in? Yes, we got the people that are already preaching the word. And I would love to be part of something bigger on that. And right now I don't know how. I'm going to pray on it. It could be years down the road. And as immigrants, if I was to move to Germany, Europe, anything like that, I would want to learn their language, their ways. I'm going over into their country, their culture, how they do things. Maybe they develop bricks and cement different than we do over here in America. You got to be willing to learn and switch that up. And so there's a fine line of, we're all immigrants from somewhere. I only know so much about my family and my history, and that's fine. I've never traced it back, so I can't go there, so please don't ask that question right now. That's going to be later, maybe years down the road. But I don't want to make it this too long. So let's just think about how we all can serve one another without grumbling, being thankful in everything that we do, from buying something at the store to when you're off the clock, no matter what your job is. I detail cars. I'm serving my customers by cleaning their cars. I know restaurant workers. I know people that work in the oil industry. I know people that, one of our customers, they're like a ranger, a natural park ranger. A little bit more than that. I can't think of the term right now. Really great guy. He is serving me, and he's serving the public in this area by being the park ranger and looking after the wildlife. So sometimes it's just, oh my God, it's a job. I'm getting paid. Why am I doing it? And if your calling changes, that's fine too. Right now, I'm not a welder. The welders are serving every single one of us, whether it's on the pipeline, welding your bridges together. We got manufacturers. We all serve one another from small to big. So just stay positive, guys. And another friendly reminder, let's share this content and let's do this together. Let's grow together, but let's also not be burnt out and be thankful in the process. And do what you can in a day. Do what you can, whether you're serving your kids. Kudos to all you parents that are out there. Stay strong and positive. I'm not a parent yet, but I'm already mentally prepared from just what I see. How parents come to church and bring their kids to church and just staying strong. You going to work. Sometimes you gotta put them in daycare, or you gotta make those tough decisions of something going on at school. And I'm mentally strong and ready for that, even though I'm not there. So sometimes when I get long hours of rest, I'm thankful for it, because when it is my time to have kids, they're gonna be long sleepless nights, but it's gonna be worth it, because guess what? I get to be blessed by serving that child and having that child. Right, wrong, or indifferent. So let's continue serving one another, and let's serve for the greater good. Serve yourself to take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, you can help better take care of others. And sometimes we get burnt out doing that. And that said, I think sometimes that's why a lot of people turn to drugs. We get so lost, whether it's alcohol, porn, meth, whatever the addiction is. Overeating. There's many forms of addiction. They don't necessarily have to be hard drugs or pornography. But we get lost, and I think we want to avoid sometimes the good, and we let the devil take over. Don't serve him. I know the times that I've heard a lot of opportunities in my life and didn't see the bigger picture when I should have. not to regret. It's life learning, and I'm not going to be regretful for that. I'm not going to die regretful. So let's just continue serving one another, loving one another, and just keep practicing as best as you can, and don't be too hard on yourself. Have a great, wonderful, and a blessed day. Thank you very much, everyone. Love y'all.